Hi, y'all. We are here with the final, and I might even say most potent audio training inside of this container. And there's so many nuances to scaling in alignment with your soul, to syncing with your soul, to tapping into an overflow of money, of love, of expansion, of everything you've ever wanted. And I can honestly say I have manifested not everything I've ever wanted, but a lot, 90%. Now, with every manifestation, actualize, my dreams get bigger and bigger. So, we're on the stairway to heaven on earth each step of the way, always. But I want to share with you some things that are going to change the game for you, especially when you could listen to this audio on its own and it would be very powerful and magnetic, but especially when you align it with what we've been talking about inside of this container, there's no way you can't get results if you're doing all of the things that I'm telling you and moving. Now, many of you are going to say, well, Suzanne, I have questions or I need feedback or, I don't want to feel like I'm just doing this alone. And I agree, because it's very challenging when you feel like you're doing this alone. It's, for some people, unique soul blueprint. We need a decent amount of accountability. We need to have a skin in the game. What does that mean? It means that you're not just saying you're going to do something, you're actually doing it. You're putting skin in the game to really elevate the way that you're showing up. So for me personally, I know when I've hired mentors, when I've leaned in a way that stretches me, I show up differently. Okay. So I'm going to speak to the energetics of success and how you activate them and how to really move in a way that you can sync with your soul. Now, I want you to just trust that if you're listening to this, that you're in the right place in the right space. There's probably about 100 people that opted into this program that never even made it to the Telegram channel. Okay, and there's many that are here and that haven't made it through the audios. And this is not shaming, not blaming. What I'm saying is that, Tucker, Tucker screaming like a bear in the background. What I'm saying is that I want you to trust that you're in the right space and that you have everything you need for a quantum leap, as long as you choose it and as long as you show up for you. Now, the energetics of success and how to activate them. Okay. So there's a piece of this that I have not spoke about very much, and it's a really important piece of the puzzle. And it's transforming your past and rewiring your mind. Now, I have spoken to rewiring your mind a few different times, but the piece around transforming your past. And so many people in the entrepreneurial journey have the hero's journey, where you've been on a quest, if you will. And sometimes there are different stories, there's programming, there could be some traumas that you haven't let go of or that you haven't transformed yet. Now, I am not a trauma coach. Let's just be clear on that. However, I am very good at helping you transform the past. And what I mean by that is being able to release the frequencies that have kept you in the field of what's realistic and what's predictable, and that have kept you at a more dense level than you know you should be operating at. Okay? Because with true arrows up alignment, you're more frequency, you're more energy than matter. Now, if you're not tracking with this piece of what I'm saying, just listen and roll with it. If you've read my book, Quantum Vibes, you may understand some more of this, or maybe you just understand quantum physics. But the idea of where we're going, and when you're syncing with your soul, you're raising your frequency. You're becoming more energy and less matter. When you feel light, like that whole light as a feather, steady as a rock energy. When you feel like you can just look in the mirror sometimes and you have a glow and it feels light. And then on the flip side of that, you also know when it feels heavy, when you're like, fuck, something just happened. It's just it feels dense. It feels heavy. It's slow moving. You know that when you've experienced it in yourself, and you know that when you've experienced that in other people. For example, let's say You could be at a store or at a restaurant and somebody passes you and you just feel the density. You feel the low vibration. And you don't even need to know the person. You don't even need to know what's happening. You feel it. And also the flip side of that, you may be somewhere and you see somebody who just walks out and she's glowing and she's light and she's free and she's magnetic. And that's the vibe of really where you want to be when you're syncing with your soul. And this doesn't have to be the prettiest, most successful woman or man. It doesn't have to be the best looking to feel the light. What it has to be is the most healed and connected soul sinking human that you've seen. And so when I say healed, I don't believe that, I believe that when we're 100% healed, that we've transitioned. I believe that as long as we're breathing, we're growing, and there's always going to be components to heal. You've heard me say it a million times. We're on the stairway to heaven on earth. Life is a journey. As long as we're breathing, we're evolving. And when you can really plug into that, how can the next 5 years be the best years? How can the next 10 years be the best years? What is it that I need to be doing to make everything get better and better and better? Because you're never going to be any younger than you are today. And so when I say healed, what I mean is that you've learned to dissolve the walls in your heart. What I mean is that you understand how to balance your feminine and your masculine energies. What I mean is that you have emotional intelligence. So when you're being reactive, you understand that you're not in your highest level of power. So that you can really look from a higher perspective of the situations of what's happening and understand that everything that's happened to you, even the hard stuff, even the really hard stuff, somehow, some way has happened for you. So there is a big component of healing that you want to make sure that you have done and are in the process of doing when it comes to transformation. And so transforming your past and rewiring your mind. Transforming your past is all of the healing that I've just talked about. And if you're like, Suzanne, yep, I need that. I need to be reminded, because I can tell you this is the most potent work that I've ever done, is really looking at the version of me that didn't feel worthy of being seen in her full power. The version of me that couldn't even see my own power. The version of me that really had to learn to love myself. And self-love, I feel like, has gotten this different meaning of where, people are talking about pedicures and manicures and massages, self-love. And those things are a component of self-love. But really it means that raw, unfiltered truth. You're willing to sit with all of your emotions. You're willing to feel your own power. You're willing to look at your deepest, darkest demons. You're willing to allow the shame, the grief, the rage that you feel to move through you, so that you're not holding that frequency and you're becoming more energy and less matter. So I could run a whole class on this. And in fact, with the Atoms Actualization activation coming up, this conversation around becoming more energy and less matter is going to make a lot more sense. Also, inside of Iconic Radiance, this is going to make a lot more sense. Both of those programs are coming up live. So if you have questions or you would like to join, I highly recommend it. The Atoms Actualization activation, you can join right now for $111, and you get to use that $111 toward an upcoming event or program. Or if you join Quantum Success Live, you'll get the Atoms Actualization activation as a complimentary bonus. So my intention is that this isn't the end for us, that this is the beginning for us, whether you move with me now or you move with me later, because I know that you're here because your soul is ready to integrate with your highest level of magnetism and create some incredible things. So transforming your past, rewiring your mind. Rewiring your mind is something that you do. I just saw where Tasha commented that she'd been listening and binging this at night before bed and waking up in the morning moving and building a lead magnet, and all of a sudden, having clarity that she hadn't had. She's rewiring and reprogramming her mind by intentionally pouring in and also changing the pattern. There's so many different things that you can do here. And you've got to understand how to operate the vehicle of the human body. Just the same way, if you're going to learn to drive a car, you learn to drive a car. You learn the patterns of what's happening on the road. You learn the different ways to park. If you're going to parallel park, if you're going to drive on a freeway versus drive on a one-lane road. If you're in wild conditions and you need four-wheel drive, you learn how to drive the vehicle. But there's no one yet, this is part of my mission too, no one yet teaching all of these principles in schools, which we should. And that's a huge part of my vision, is that the atoms actualization activation and the exercises in quantum vibes are in elementary, middle, and high schools, because we should be learning this at a very, very early age. You've got to learn how to operate the vehicle of the human body. Now, connecting to the version of you that lives in the field of excitement and limitlessness and making decisions from that space. So what does that mean? So every single one of you that did these exercises with me, when you started to say, okay, here's what's realistic, here's what feels exciting, here's what feels limitless. You expanded your energy just by tapping into what even that feels like. The idea here, if you want a quantum leap, is you sync with your soul. Again, you don't think, you sync. You sync with your soul and you say, at my highest level, what is it that's in alignment with my unique soul blueprint? What are my deepest desires? What is my soul calling forth of me? And in that space of the field of excitement and the field of limitless, you get so crystal clear on what that looks like. You don't need to know how. It doesn't even matter if it feels far away, but you get so connected to that version of you. And when you do that, you're already going to be transcending limitations. You're already going to be becoming more energy and less matter, because your focus is somewhere different. And the reason that you want to become more energy and less matter is because you're going to manifest faster. The more dense the matter, the slower the manifestation. And so you've got to raise your frequency. How do you raise your frequency? You've been doing it by plugging in to all of these trainings. How do you raise your frequency? You have more FUN. How do you raise your frequency? Get your booty to Laguna Beach and come to the Quantum Success Live with me, or come to the Sedona Vortex Immersion this February. But Quantum Success Live is very soon in September. Any of my programs, any of these conversations, that's the intention, what we're doing. We're elevating your frequency. We're helping you believe in possibility. We're creating grounded strategies that you can move with. We are changing the game over and over, rewiring and reprogramming your mind. It's the crux of everything that I'm delivering. And so there is the compound effect when you're doing this and you're listening with me and you're linked arms with me. And this is why my clients have so many incredible results, because it's like all of a sudden they transcend from the mind, they sync with their soul, they drop into their heart. There's an ignition started in their heart, and now they're moving, and they're not thinking, they're syncing, they're moving. And then all of a sudden it's like they're more energy, less matter, and dream clients are dropping out of thin air. And oh my gosh, how did that happen? And as long as they're staying with me, as long as they're tracking, as long as they're showing up, they don't even necessarily have to be doing anything. It's more receiving, syncing, and moving from that space. Not pushing, not forcing, not doing. Okay? So when you're in that space of playing with who am I in this field of what feels exciting? Who am I when I'm tapped into limitlessness? What is the version of me that's walking in that field? What does she look like during business? What does he look like during business? What is a version of me that's going to show up to do a live stream? What energy is she bringing to the table? What is the version of me that's going to show up to, to have dinner with my partner? What is the version of me, or if you're single, that's going to go out and connect with a friend, or even by yourself? Like, what's the frequency? What's the energy that you're bringing, and how connected is it to that version of you that lives in that field of excitement, that lives in that field of infinite possibility, of limitless? And how connected are you to that version? And if you're not connected enough, then I suggest that you stay very close to me, because we will get you there. And if you are connected and you want to expand that, then I also suggest that you stay very close to me, because like I said, we will get you there. Now, the next piece of this, are you making decisions from that contracted space of lack and not enough? Or are you making decisions from the expansion of limitless potential? Now, I do realize that there may be some limitations that you feel, whether it becomes to money or time or health or whatever it is. There could be some limitations. But if you can energetically begin to tap into what feels possible, what feels exciting, what can transcend the mind, you're going to have a different reality, and you're going to have it fast, because you're instantly going to start to become more energy and less matter. So I want to bring this conversation to the Adam's Actualization activation, and I want to show you another piece of this, okay? The Adam's Actualization activation. This is the blueprint of how you become more energy, less matter, of how you manifest from the quantum field, and how you are able to collapse time and space and make your dreams a reality. Now, as you've heard, I'm doing a 3-hour workshop on this on Saturday. You're all invited. It's $111. If you're in the alignment experience, it is included. When you purchase it, you get to use that $111 toward an upcoming event or program. So if you wanted to do Iconic Radiance with me, you can put it toward that. If you wanted to come to Quantum Success, you could put it toward that, as long as there's still tickets left. And, anything else that's upcoming. But I want to give you a component of this that is really important to soul syncing and syncing with your soul, and especially soul sync scaling. So if you look at each of these, and I was really, really trying to put together this faith, trust, surrender. And I'll just tell you. So this past February, when I went to Sedona, I went a few days early, and I went by myself, and I went on the land, and I got with my journal, and everything that kept coming through for me was faith, trust, surrender. It's like the words were just really dropping in. Faith, trust, surrender. To the point after like a couple of days, I was like, faith, trust, surrender, like a little annoyed. But I knew that like this was me syncing with my soul. And the more I leaned into it, the more truth it felt, and I could feel my body getting lighter and lighter, more energy, less matter. And I've been looking at how does this really align with the Adam's Actualization activation, and it aligns in so many different ways. And when I was looking at these words, at first I was thinking it would be surrender. Wait a second, I want to make sure I tell you this right. Yes, I was thinking it would be surrender in the bottom A, faith in the middle A, and trust in the top A. And that I may have even mentioned it in that way inside of this program. And something just became crystal clear to me yesterday. And this is what's cool about this blueprint, is it's evolving. It's evolving, it's shifting, it's moving. It's a co-creation. And it's not about me. This is literally about ways for me to help human beings transcend the mind, to connect with source, God, love, energy, and really, really understand how to manifest with oneness. Because most people try to manifest with separation. They try to manifest with a lack mindset, and it does not work that way. And so if you've tried to manifest some things and they haven't come to form, it's because you're trying to manifest them from separation, and the Adam's Actualization activation helps you manifest with oneness. So when you're thinking about trust, faith, surrender, I'm going to explain this to you how I see that I've actually done this over the years, and how I've helped many clients do this as well. And I'm going to explain it to you in a way where we can rewire, reprogram your mind at the same time. So if you're looking at the bottom A, and that actually is trust. This is like so important, because without the frequency of trust, I can tell you, I would probably still be depressed and still at just like the pinky nail on my finger, reached that much potential. Instead, I know I still haven't even scratched the surface of my true potential, but I've come a lot further and a lot more expansive through the frequency of trust, and more specifically aligning trust with faith and surrender, but doing it in this way. So with trust, what does trust mean? Trust means you have no idea how. I mentioned this with Quantum Success Live. Usually I would give myself a lot more prep time for an event like this. And all I knew was I could feel it. It was an alignment. I'm like trusting. I'm like, God has a plan. Let's go. Move. And that's when I'm syncing with my soul. I'm not thinking, I'm syncing. So I'm trusting. I'm like, this is actually really cool. It's a cool experience to have a VIP day with me at this price point, and also to expand your network with these other incredible humans that are going to be like my high level clients, and new amazing high level clients that are stepping in. Like, what an extraordinary opportunity. So I can feel that. I can feel how that really serves my mission and elevates my clients. Win, win, win. Like, let's go. So I'm not in my head worrying about the marketing. I'm not in my head thinking about every single detail. I'm syncing with my soul. I'm moving. In fact, I even booked a 2-week trip to Europe, which it was a last minute thing. It's a girls trip. I'm going in a couple weeks. I cannot wait. We're going to have the best time. And it was literally when I was thinking about FUN, this is what came up. And then my logical mind was like, Suzanne, you've got an event in September that, you really need to be prepping for. And I'm like, I don't. I'm prepped for the event. It's about the marketing. It's holding the space, and me going on a European adventure and filling myself up and having a lot of FUN really supports the energy of quantum success. I didn't think, I synced, I moved, boom, trip happening. I could give you so many more examples of this, okay? So the element of trust being in that bottom A, and what does that mean? It means that you're moving in this field of what's realistic and what's predictable, with trust in the unknown, with trust in what's possible, with trust in the space and place that your soul is guiding you to. Now, from there, you've got to move into faith, because it starts with trust, and then it's elevated, expanded, compounded with the frequency of faith. So faith is where you truly surrender. You give the keys to the ignition of your car of life to your highest, truest, wisest self. There's an exercise I wrote in Quantum Vibes about this called the Wheels in Your Heart exercise. I also teach this inside of Iconic Radiance. This is a huge part of the whole puzzle, because you've got to be able to surrender the keys to the ignition of your car of life to your highest, truest, wisest self. You've got to sync with your soul. You've got to expand. You've got to move. You've got to trust. You've got to surrender. So if you're thinking about this, you're trusting. Your identity, your personality is trusting. You're not syncing. You're syncing. You're not thinking. You're moving, okay? Then it goes into faith. When it looks like it's not happening, when things are coming up and you're like, how is that ever going to happen? I don't even know how that's going to happen. This seems crazy. I'm so far from it. You have to sync with your soul and have faith. And can I have faith that I'm going to be guided? I'm going to be shown the exact next step in the exact next way of how to handle it. Can I move with that frequency? And when you lock into that faith, something happens. Your heart opens, your magnetism is expanded, and those alignment arrows shoot up into the heavens. And as you shoot up into the heavens, you've now surrendered. And you're now in a frequency of surrender. And you access the infinite field through surrender. But you have to move with trust and faith to get there. This is huge. This is so important, because when you're surrendered is when you play in that field of infinite, limitless potential. This is when the unexplained millions show up. This is when the dream house pops into reality. This is when the high-level clients that you've been dreaming of working with come to you and show up out of thin air. Do you know how many times I've literally had conversations with my clients where they're like, Suzanne, you're not going to believe this, but I just assigned this contract, or this dream client came in and they showed up out of thin air. And the reason it's coming out of thin air is because they've changed their energy. They're more frequency, less matter. Their arrows are up. They've moved with trust. They've expanded that with faith. They fully surrendered. And so now they're walking in this field of limitless, infinite possibility. And when that happens, the entire room is arranging. The entire world is arranging to their point of attraction. And so I can tell you that this is such a huge piece of actualizing your wildest dreams. And so when you think about it in this way, is that when you surrender, you're not surrendering like I said the other day when I did the audio around what arrows up isn't, or what arrows up doesn't mean. It's not this, oh, well, surrender energy. It's this, This is a co-creation. I understand that I am only a piece of the equation. I understand that I'm co-creating with something so much bigger than me, and I'm doing it for a purpose, for a mission, for my soul's purpose, what I was born to do, the purpose of what I was born to do, and for my mission. My mission. My mission means that I came to earth and I have a mission, and this is what I'm supposed to complete while I'm here. And when that's what you're moving for, and you're moving from that space of knowing that everything is working out for you, it is impossible to fail. So surrender does not mean I'm just going to sit around and put my feet up and visualize and wait for clients to come in out of thin air. It means that I'm going to trust, and in trust, I'm going to make the moves that my soul is showing me. I'm going to tap into faith, that expand that faith even more. I'm going to connect with my highest, truest, wisest self. I'm going to heal and dissolve the layers in my heart. I'm going to expand my magnetism. And in doing that, I'm going to full throttle surrender. And when it looks like it's not happening, I'm going to understand that it is happening. And when it looks like it's not happening, my arrows are not going to go out and say, where is it? My arrows are going to go up, higher, stronger, more potent, saying, I am it. Okay? So this is a huge piece of this. So for all of the things that we've talked about to work, for the quantum leaps to really happen, you have to understand the energetics piece. The energetics piece is something that's hard to explain. You've got to feel it. You've got to be it. That's why I love the alignment experience, because it's a full year in. You instantly step into a state of abundance, because it's not like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that. You're all in for a year. Let's go. This is why I like immersions, whether it's a 1 or 2 day thing like Quantum Success, where you get to literally experience years worth of healing and transformation in 1 or 2 days, or if it's a 4-day immersion in Sedona, where you're getting to come and literally let go of everything that's held you back and have 4 full days to become more energy, less matter. It doesn't matter whether it's alignment experience or one of these immersions. Like, I can just tell you, if you feel activated right now, this is your soul guiding you and saying, like, now is your time. Make your move. What is in alignment with your unique soul blueprint? What are you feeling flutters about? What are you feeling activated about? What are you feeling excited about? Now, I'm giving you a big opportunity. The alignment experience, the price is not going to be discounted like this for very long. And the social media and sales mastermind that I'm doing, and this is for you if you want to have more fun on social media, if you want to make more sales on social media, if you desire for your dream ESTM clients to be messaging you saying, I just found your page, like, how can I work with you? I literally, in the last couple of days, I think I've had 4 or 5 messages from new potential clients that have come in that said, just found you on Instagram. Here's what I want to help with. What's the best way to work with you? Literally. And so now I'm in conversations with helping them find what's the best fit, and we move from there. And these are people that are very much in alignment for me to help, and that I'm excited to help. So if you desire that kind of result, and you desire that clients dropping in out of thin air, the Sales and Social Media Mastermind is a great space to accelerate all of that. So that sells on its own for $5,000, and you get it complimentary when you step into the alignment experience. So if this is calling to you, there's a payment plan option that makes it extremely feasible. Once you make your first payment, you get access. We have a Zoom coaching call coming up. And I just want to tell you that you're not here by accident. And whether you come to the Atoms Actualization Activation, or whether you're coming to Quantum Success Live, or whether you're jumping in the alignment experience, or whether you're coming to one of my higher level masterminds or the VIP Speaker Soul Retreat, it does not matter. What matters is that you're moving in a way that you're syncing with your soul. You're trusting that what you've learned here is the beginning. It's the next step. It's a stepping stone to what's next for you. And you're not thinking you're sinking. You're moving. You're moving with trust. You're expanding that trust into faith that's unlocking your heart, unlocking your magnetism. You're going up into surrender, and you're understanding that these only work when you're actually co-creating, when you're doing your part, when you're doing your best. And your best is going to look different every single day, by the way, depending on your unique soul blueprint, depending on your current circumstances. So I want to leave you with this. I can tell you right now that you only have a desire if it's meant to be in your heart. And that my wish for you is that you sync with your soul so you can experience what the frequency of continual overflow and more fulfillment and elevation than you can ever imagine feels like. Because it is the most exhilarating, alive feeling that you can ever experience. And that we have one shot. We have one shot at this life. As Sarah Blakely says, this life is not a dress rehearsal. And so you can get up and really step into your full power and your full potential, or you can lean back and play on the sidelines. But this is your shot. And so this is your moment. This is your shot. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to take the frequency that we've created together, that you've plugged into, and utilize that to become more energy, less matter? How are you going to take the trainings, the ideas, the activations, and move with them and move in real time so you're actually seeing results where you're expanding your amount of overflow with money, where you're expanding your amount of overflow with clients, where you're expanding your amount of overflow with fulfillment? Because my intention for you is that you get all of it and that it gets to feel fun and expansive. It doesn't mean there's not going to be moments of hard work. It doesn't mean that there's going to be days where you don't feel like it. But it does mean that it's all going to be worth it and it's going to be easier than you think.